I'm okay. Now, no, some are not ready. So we'll start tomorrow. But for now, let's cover the agreement. It was etiological narratives and which other narratives? Yeah? I checked somebody's book here. I think it was yours. Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday. And we agreed that we talk about the narratives, then we move to the other. You know, it's more of a revision because I believe you did all the narratives in Form 1. Yes? Did we? Okay, let's mention the types of narratives so that I see whether you recall. Trickster narratives. Let's define what a trickster narrative is. What is a trickster narrative? For example, when you are asked in an exam, you are given a narrative, then you are told, you say that it's a trickster narrative. Why would you say it's a trickster narrative? Yeah, we have etiological story and dilemma story, but we just want to go through the rest, then we come to focus on the two. Yes? Why would you say or classify a narrative as trickster narrative? Yeah, you will obviously see a small animal tricking a big animal, or just the fact that there is a trick, one animal tricking another, it will bring the aspect of trickster narrative. Apart from trickster narratives, which other narratives did you learn? Yes, narratives. They are narratives which explain why things are they are. And obviously in the story you'll see maybe has strips. That is why that has an animal known as bush baby. Yes. What does it have? What does it have? It has a big tail, does it? Yeah, if you come. She's thinking, I don't know whether she's reflecting whether it was hunted somewhere. But when you live near Tsavo Park, you will see a lot of them. There are so many there. Apart from etiological story, which other stories have we learned? Here people are not responding. Which other stories have you learned? Yes. Dilemma stories. What kind of stories are dilemma stories? How do you decide to clarify a narrative as dilemma? What will it have for you to say that it's a dilemma story? Yes? Critical state, sick, or how? Because when you say critical state, it must be maybe you are critically sick. You are supposed to say it ends with suspense. You know, you are left with two choices which are very difficult to make, you know, for you to make a decision whether you go for one or the other. For example, if somebody tells you that maybe live a long life, but you'll end up in hell, or you are going to die now and go to heaven, But we are going to cut you into pieces using maybe an axe. Which one? Which one will you go for? Which one? All of us want to go to heaven, right? All of us want to go to heaven. Or is there anyone here who wants to go to hell? And you have been given an option. We cut you to pieces now with an axe and you go to heaven. Or you live all your life but you end in hell. So you can see those are difficult choices to make. Okay, so that's a dilemma story. Dilemma story, that is the third. Let's go to the fourth. Yes. Ogre narratives, which we also call monster tales. How do you decide that this one is a monster tale? How do you decide? Yes. So which kind of creatures? Like, give us a name. It will have which animals or which creatures? Okay. Where does that word monster or ogre come from? Yes? Have you ever seen an ogre? No. Do you know how an ogre looks like? It has? Yes? So, of course, an ogre story, when you read it, somewhere there will be an ogre or, a creature that is has a very funny aspects, and maybe it swallows or it consumes human beings. So it must have something there. Of course, at first they are beautiful or handsome, then later they transform. So it can be a woman or a man who is very beautiful or handsome, but later on they transform into very ugly and strange, beings that will consume us. Apart from ogre narratives, which narrative have we not mentioned? Yes. Yeah? Mythical stories. What are mythical stories? They are folk stories. Really? That they are false stories. Mythical stories are false stories. Anyone to tell us what mythical stories are? We tested for, is it the current Form 4s? The first elite. So what are mythical stories? Okay. You told me you had gone through this. You don't remember again? Yes.
Stories of the community.
Stories of the community. Stories that give us an origin, a feature, or an origin of a community. Like have the Mumbi and which other community has such an original story that tells a story? Kalenjin, which story is that? One person, because now, I'm also recording here. I'm recording so that for future reference.
They came from a giant's name.
They come from?
A giant's name.
How the Kalenjin believe they came from a knee? And the knee of who?
A Kalenjin.
Of?
A Kalenjin.
Of a cow. How comes I've never interacted with that?
Si walitoka kwa mtu.
from a knee of who? Like, do they have a name of this person who had a knee that out of it came people? Or they just say a knee of someone? Huh? They just say a knee.
Yes.
Okay. We said for the last time for Form 4s, the origin of, there was something about among the Luya. And we were talking about how someone saved people, and then from there was circumcision coming out. So it was not, some students thought it was an etiological tale, but it was mythical because we are talking from the very ancient. Because the difference between etiological and myth is very lean. Only that one is from the beginning. And in the Bible, of course, we have a mythical story, isn't it?
Yes.
And also historians, you have myth about human beings. You say we came from monkeys. I've waited to see a monkey one day transforming into a human being I've not seen. Or a baboon. Why is it that we keep going to the, or how many years does it take for a monkey to become a human being?
They say centuries.
Centuries.
No, millions. But centuries come.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next. We have talked about now mythical, etiological, dilemma, ogre. There's still one. Legendary tale. What is a legendary tale? Legendary tale. What is that? Only some people know. Others have forgotten.
It talks about the heroes and heroes.
It talks about
Heroes and
heroes within a society.
yes.
They have supernatural powers sometimes. In the Bible, we have one, isn't it? Not one. We have two. We have Samson and we have another one.
Delilah.
We have Samson and we have which other? The famous one under all the Christians, when we talk about Christians. Christians, whom do we normally say saved our life? Is he not part of the legendary narratives in the Bible? Then for Muslims we have Allah. Allah is God. Yeah, Muhammad. Yeah, Muhammad. So every time you hear them talking about Muhammad as being born by Fatima and all that he had done, so they respect Muhammad. What about in Indian? Yeah, we have Krishna and we have another one. Buddha, no. Buddha, no. Shiva is a god among the gods and goddesses under the several ranks. Anyway, you will learn later. Maybe some of you will go to India. Because there was a student here, but she had not come. She went to India, studied, then currently she is in, is it Ireland? Yeah. There was a girl known as Njai. You don't know her? She was at a district after coming from India for attachment. Then she went back to Ireland. I think she's still furthering. She did something to do with, she began with a simple diploma in medicine, I think. So you don't have to run and just go to anything. If you have ability to be given a better course, you can start from elsewhere. In fact, India is one of the countries that has opportunities in some areas, IT and that, if you really want to focus on that. So that you don't just, you are called to any university with any course and you just go. Then later on it disturbs you. So if your parent has ability, you can go there. I saw another one, the girl who was in Form 4 Central last year. She was also saying she's going to Canada to study what? That girl is Gona Njeri. You remember her? You know Jerry? You don't remember Jerry, the light-skinned one? Yeah. So if you have parents who can give you that opportunity, don't just pick a course that you have been called to Kisii University to study animal science, and you go and you don't know which animals you are coming to guard after you finish. No, which one haven't we discussed? I thought we have talked about them. No, human tails, we no longer have that classification. It used to be there, but we said in most of these stories, like the dilemma stories, you'll find a human being there. Even in ogre stories, there will be a human being with swallow. You find the etiological tale, it's human beings we are talking about, right? So they had to erase that classification of human and animal tales. So don't classify it like that. So even fables, don't use the word fables in classification, just use the classification we talked about. Now let's go particularly to what is in your book. We have dialogical narratives. Now I want you to tell me other features away from the definition. The characteristics. So when we have an etiological narrative, for example, if you checked Form 4, Elite, we had set a narrative whereby a snake used to be very proud, and she could say she cannot dance with other animals because they don't dance well. And the sky spirit was so annoyed and turned and said, now the snake will crawl all his life. So that is how the snake began to crawl. So you can see that one is teaching us a moral lesson about pride goes before a fall. So all those, when you talk about even the reason why we have the donkey, is it the donkey? The donkey and zebra. The reason why the zebra has strips and the donkey doesn't have. What happened? They were going for a party, and then what happened to the donkey? He moved carelessly and poured the paint. So they had to pick the old paint and just spread on him. But the zebra, they had taken time to create the strips. So, it teaches us to be careful. Careful also, so that we don't spoil, like the paint was spoiled. So to make sure that he just had something, they had to throw the entire paint on him. When you talk about, for example, the tortoise body, it teaches us to be careful. The rest of the birds had donated feather to tortoise, and they went to the sky for the party. When they arrived in the party, they asked the names of the rest of the animals, and they were introducing themselves. Then tortoise decided to be called All of Us. Then when they were bringing food, they said the food is for all. Yeah, then he said, of course I am the one who is called like that, so the food will be mine. He ate while others were just looking there, angry, but they can't eat. So at the end of the day, the rest of the birds said, you will have to give us back our feathers because now you decided to eat everything. So on coming back, he had to instruct the birds, go tell my wife to lay blankets and soft stuff on the ground. I'll be falling from the skies. So on falling, because the rest of the birds were annoyed, they told the wife, can you put spoons, stones, and what have you on the floor, on the ground? So the tortoise had to fall and the body cracked. So you see now that one is teaching us also a moral lesson. So it has a moral lesson. What other feature does it have? Yes? It has? It has fantasy, because can you imagine a tortoise speaking and eating the entire food? Can you go to the party and eat the food meant for all these people? That's fantasy. Any other feature? Any other feature of an etiological? Yes? It has? It has an opening formula. So you'll find that you say once upon a time or long time ago, that they used to be friends. Then something happened, you go up to the end, then you say that is why currently he does not do this, So it has an opening formula. Anything else it has? Anything else? Yeah. It has? Yeah, it has personification. Of course, you can see what we are talking about. The donkey, since you started living, have you ever seen a donkey speaking? No. But in the stories, we make them speak. We make the hare do something, you know? So that's personification. Any other feature of etiological? How does it end? Or what is there that can tell you about the etiological? When they say that is why, or from that day. Yeah, so it has a closing formula whereby we end in a certain version. Any other feature? Have you seen any feature there for an etiological narrative that you have not mentioned?
Rhetorical question.
Why rhetorical question? Maybe you can explain.
The zebra.
No, I want the typical ones, not just common ones. Yeah, the fact that they will often have the statement why. Somewhere in the narrative there will be that is why or why, you know, something like that. Now, what are the functions of etiological narratives? I know when you are kids, you used to listen to these stories in classes. Why are we told etiological narratives? Or why do we even have to study them? To sharpen our wits, or even our critical thought, so that we think beyond what we see. When you are told that is why the giraffe has a long neck, you have to think about it. Two? Yes, they warn us against some behaviors, like when we are greedy. Now it will teach us that when you are greedy, some other people will reject you, you know. Or when you are careless, you will have to lose your stuff. Yes. Yeah, for entertainment purposes. You see, I saw you laughing at the tortoise or maybe the donkey. So you laugh at them and it gives you that entertainment. Any other? Yeah. Yeah, they educate us. Maybe they educate us about some things to do with the phenomenon around us and all that. Is there another function? Okay, so I hope you know a variety of stories on etiological. In fact, we have talked about some of them. And when they sit in an exam, just look at the way it is written. And see, I don't know why when you are marking, you realize that some students cannot even identify this was an etiological narrative or explanatory tale. Even when we said for Form 4, some of them could not tell us that it's an etiological narrative. So that should be an easy task for you. Now for you, maybe as Form 3s during your time, they may set it in paper 1. And when they set in paper 1, the focus is on performance. How is it said? Where should we stress? What should we do when we are performing it? How to enhance maybe to make it better? How do we make sure that the audience listen more? You know, those are the kind of questions you may be asked. Because we are more of expecting poetry for you than the narratives. But we may never know again in case of, illicit habits that happen. Maybe they think there's leakage. They always normally serve us with a different paper, which is unexpected. So let's go to the next dilemma stories. Apart from the definition, which other features does a dilemma story have? Which other features does a dilemma story have? When you read a story, I think you've had a story in your book. There is a story about what? Book 3, New Integrated English, there is a dilemma story. Have you read about that story? Yes? Then there is a story that commonly talks about a man who lived with the mother and the wife. The mother-in-law, the mother, and the wife, all of them were blind. Then on one day while they were traveling, he was walking, then he hit some eyes. That is what we are told in that story. The eyes they were 6? No, they were 7. 7 eyes. I'm talking about the eyes. Huh? So he picked them. And the first thing, he gave himself 1 eye. He gave the wife 1 eye. He gave the mother-in-law 1 eye and the mother 1 eye. How many eyes has he remained with? No, he remained with 1. Because in that narrative, he remained with 1, and he was wondering whether he should give himself, his wife, the mother-in-law, or mother. Who do you give? Why? The mother, why? And he did not want to look, according to the story they tell us, the man did not want to look like he was selfish. Remember, they have already placed that. He did not want to appear selfish. And he loved everyone equally. Whom does he give? That would be selfish if you give yourself. Imagine, throw it away. Yes? You will? You will throw it? What about if you throw it and the rest of the ice disappear? Yeah? There is another story that talks about there was a man who had stayed long without marrying, and he found a very beautiful lady. And when he proposed to the lady said, "I will marry you, but only if you bring your mother's breast." So, and this is she was a very beautiful woman, the woman he had longed to marry. What do you do? Look for another one and there's nowhere. Yes? You stay single. You don't want to. No, according to that story, in the stories they normally tell us she was the most beautiful. None other was equaling her. According to the story, that's what they'll tell you. They'll not tell you that there were other beautiful people. You remain single. So that is how dilemma stories are created, by the way. So which features do you see in that story, apart from that aspect of suspense? Apart from the fact that there is suspense, what other feature have you seen?
None of the choices is easy to make.
Yeah, the choices you have to make are very difficult choices. Any other feature? That? Yeah, sometimes you pick a choice and you regret. For example, I think I was teaching in a different class and I was saying, if today you are told, I think there's even a student who made that choice in this school. She was in Form 2 and she was given an option to decide go for beauty pageants. But she used to be number 1, by the way, in academics. She was being sponsored to go through Form 4 and then maybe decide to go for a career. Then there are people who came up and said they will sponsor her to do beauty pageant and leave school. Then maybe she can sponsor herself in academics. Which decision would you make? And remember, beauty pageant sometimes goes only for a period. Maybe 5 years you will be there trending, making money. And unless you are lucky, you may not continue. And when you are making, those sponsors earn a % from you. Some of them can take even 60% and they leave you with 40. So which choice would you make? So it depends. I remember that girl decided to go. So I don't know how she's faring on. She would have finished last year, but she decided to go. We also have another one, maybe after Form 4, I think. She was told to go abroad and be, adopted by a certain family. To be adopted by a certain family or be sponsored and study in Kenya. So which one would you do? Okay. Yes? Adopted. You don't like your parents? You will not miss your parents. But if they adopt you and they don't want to adopt your family, they just want to adopt you.
Remember, madam, when I grow up, I will come back.
Okay, so those are the decisions. Sometimes in life you will meet those challenges. You will even meet a suitor whom you don't love but they have a lot of money. And a suitor you love but they don't have a lot of money. I can see a lot of us are saying, I'll go for the money. What if you go for the money? What about if I add something? An ugly suitor with money? and a handsome suitor who has no money. Okay. Remember the next class they are learning. So it will be upon you because I hear them was Facebook normally says what? Pesa inaosha. That's what she says. So it will be upon you. You may decide that anyway with money you will get what you want. People normally say, I would rather cry in a Mercedes Benz than laugh on a bicycle. So it is upon you. Okay. Yeah, so let's go through. Do you have any features you found? Other features? Okay, another feature is exaggeration. When you listen to the dilemma stories, most of them have exaggeration, a lot of exaggeration. Because you don't see how life can be like that. I don't know, how many of you have read the story, The Pearl? How many of you read Pearl, which has Kino? That story is more of a dilemma story. Because it just ends with suspense. There is a lot of exaggeration about the problems Kino has to face. He tries to run from one problem, he gets into another. They are even saving the baby. The baby finally is shot. So they have to come back to the village without the baby. They had got a pearl from the ocean. A very big pearl that should bring a lot of money. But they take to the market because the brokers want to make money. They refuse to buy and they say, this one is too big, but it's not very valuable. Then at night, someone tries to steal it. The wife picks it, wants to throw it away. The husband beats her up and they return to the house with the pearl. Then when they decide to relocate because they have killed somebody who was attacking at night and their house has been burned, as they are moving away, people are pursuing them. Then they get somewhere and they hide in a cave. But the place where they they had hidden, that's where somebody shot and they killed their baby. So you can see the entire problems in that book are exaggerated in a way that someone suffers too much. So there is exaggeration, there is suspense, there is difficult choices to make. Then there is also what someone else said. Now, what are the function of dilemma stories? Why do you think we are given dilemma stories? What is the role of dilemma stories? Because you've had the examples you have given. I've even given you the examples you'll meet in life later. You have been given a contract job, 2 years, it will be ending, but the salary monthly is 200,000. There is another job, maybe 50,000 per month, but you have to live, maybe work for 10 years. So those options will come in life. And you have to decide whether to go for that 2 years and then save and be self-employed or live for 10 years. You know, those decisions are there. Yes. Yeah, it enhances critical thinking. Critical and creative problem solving is one of the aspects we teach in schools, though we are not given room to apply it in Africa. But when you look at American lessons, people are given room to really explore. Because like for us, we are just doing Fathers of Nation. You are supposed to apply the critical thought of that book in life. You apply the critical thought of the Kiswahili books you are studying in life. And even critical thought, you use it in when you are doing maybe the examination and all that. People tell you, during exam, some people will come here and they tell you, let us just go and read the Mwakenya. And you stop reading the rest of the papers. Then you go in the exam, you shocatalize yourself. You find that there's nothing from what you are spending the entire night burning the candle. And you have spent maybe even 10,000. Those things happen, isn't it? Yeah. So critical thought, it's giving you room for critical thought so that you don't actually sacrifice yourself. Any other function? Yeah? Yeah, it has a moral lesson actually. It has to teach us a moral lesson that sometimes those choices that are made may not be the best. We may opt out of all of them or something like that. Any other reason? Yeah. Yeah, they educate both language and even aspects surrounding us. Any other? Have you seen a lot of scamming that is happening currently? Even if you have an account YouTube, recently I saw some people was trying to scan people out of YouTube channels. They pretend and tell you that bring your account, I update, I up it, and you'll earn soon. If you are not using critical thinking, you'll give it away and it's lost. We have people who scam people, they call you, they tell you, there is this money, so send this, and then this, you know, those are the dilemma situations. You have to think very fast and know that this is a scammer. Or else, sometimes it's not. Then, for those, another thing that I also educate you, because you are girls, sometimes there are people who are asking a lot about nude pictures. Avoid that. It is onyesha kidogo, songesha kidogo, onyesha, avoid. Because that person is going to take your nude picture and now they'll expose on the internet or they'll begin to blackmail you. They'll tell you that if you don't do this, then I'm going to expose. Yeah, because nude pictures, they may ruin your job or something. So the moment you dare expose your chest or you are below or you are behind or whichever, that is what a lot of people are doing. And most of them, I don't know why they are from the India and Arabic. A lot of them. Even when you have a Facebook account, they'll keep calling you, video calling, then they want to see something else. So they take videos, because when they are doing that, they take videos. Then they'll have to begin selling it or blackmail you with it. So that is one of the things. Okay? Then it also creates humor. When you read those stories, they are very humorous, so it builds humor, and it also shows the cultural aspects of different communities. So I think we have shared several dilemma narratives, and you've understood from that. And I've told you, we have set for Form 4. The current Form 4s, if you look at the elites, you will find those narratives. But for us, because we never know. So have a good day. I think we are done with this. Okay. Which subject? Geography. Okay. Hey, slowly. Simsaidie kutoa hii. I think it will cause an accident. This one may cause an accident here. Ingizeni tu. Mwingine akuja msaidie. Ingizeni huku. Hii itaangusha mtu hapo. Thank you. All right, so we had Leandro, Bless Moja Maluhu, Troy, Ariaf Nahid. Thank you so much for coming on the platform and welcome. That was a lesson worth 40 minutes. You can see we actually kept our time and it was so entertaining and enjoyable at the same time. I really appreciate for your presence on the platform and for your participation in our live lesson. But let me see what to do after this. Yeah. And the students were so lively, participative at the same time. Thank you so much. Hey.